I'm sorry, by the way. I hope you can get better soon. Coming from someone who hopes to get better himself. Hello everyone, my name's Flare Blitz and welcome to Not Now. You and I, we're going to have ourselves a deep conversation. We'll know eventually, so let's talk about it. I know you don't want to go into detail, but when is ever a good time to go into detail? Not now. It won't happen now. Don't worry. We're going to be within this adventure together. This is a very short game from my two fears. Or from the two fears, probably from the developer. I wanted to distract myself by making a game about my problems, I guess. I recommend you play in windowed mode. And I recommend you check this game out for yourself. There'll be a link in the description below. Oop, that's quite loud. Hello. What's going on here? There's a bit sky. Hello. Are you here to talk about it? Talk about what? It. What you are afraid of. No one will know. This is purely confidential, you and I, yes. This will not go out to any kind of internet whatsoever. If in the end I can't help, it would be beneficial to at least talk, because in that way at least the bottle is not completely sealed. It's called bottling up, and that's never good at all. You are afraid. What am I exactly afraid of? What are you afraid of? Both of these are very, very horrifying. Accommodating to yourself in a circle in which you are very uncomfortable with, probably. Or the prospect of life itself ending. But they say that once a door opens, then it is a gateway to another possible door which will be down in the future. But I wonder what kind of door that would be opened if it would come to the factor of the suspect death being. It is not something that you should think about on a day-to-day basis. How am I going to die? What does death mean to you? What does social life mean to you? Everybody deserves some sociability. Everyone needs it. Otherwise, we will feel lonely. But there are those who are entirely anchored by sociability that really need it. And throughout the COVID pandemic, this was more prominent than ever with people that thrive of social life, having a social life, interacting with other people, and stripping that away because of rules and regulations. That could lead to that in some cases, which is horrifying. But what am I afraid of? Let's pick social life. I see. Not everyone is the most social person. Exactly. Do you fear you won't make any friends anytime soon? Yes, making new acquaintances and new friends in life is a part of the discovery and journey of life itself. There is no such thing as a time is constantly at a standstill. It is always on the move, whether you feel that it is on the move or not, whether you feel that you never made any progress throughout the day or not. There is always that aspect that no matter what it is, there's always something around you that is changing. I do fear that I won't make any friends anytime soon. I see. I guess you cannot approach those you wish to be friends with easily. Seeing an interesting potential friend in public, but you're too afraid to speak. Depending on you, you can either take a leap of faith, talk to them and see, or let the opportunity pass by. There's nothing wrong with either option. I believe that somewhere out there, there is someone willing to be your friend. We can even be friends, if you'd like. Oops, obviously we'll be friends. Dear individual on the screen right now. Anyway, I am not the best at advice. Who could say that they are the best at giving advice? Even people with PhD in psychology and giving advice, there's not even such a thing as PhD at giving advice, but all the different neurological fields out there. I don't think there is a single person that can say, I am the best person in the world to give advice, because each and every one of us are different, with our own different needs, strengths and weaknesses. But everyone deserves to at least talk about their issues, exactly, or communicate it in a ways if you are unable to speak vocally. Was I of any help? Yes, glad to hear. I hope you can experience better things in life soon. I may not know who you are or anything, but it does not really matter. My name is Sonomy. What is yours? My name is... What is your name, stranger? My name is... I don't think I can fit all of this in. No, I can't fit it all in. I'm going to go with Flair. Flair. Thank you. Goodbye, Flair. I give you my name and you just did that. No, come back. Not now. Don't go away now. So, we're going to have to select no in this case. That's fine, honestly. I wish you the best of luck. Goodbye, stranger. Oh, we don't get to converse our name in the no scenario. Do you fear you won't make any friends anytime soon? No. Ah. Well then, I can't directly read your mind. I am sorry. What do you mean, read my mind? But if you are still struggling socially, know this. You do not need to be a social butterfly to succeed in life. You can get by. The meaning of being successful may mean one collective idealistic thing. Those in society believe being outdoors will grant you the best opportunities. I would say half and half. That isn't true. Live comfortably. I am not the best at advice, but everyone deserves to at least talk about their issues. Of course you are. Death. I thought so. Death is a terrifying thing to think of. I assume you'd rather not think of it at all. It does cross in the mind sometimes, but it is not the thing that you wake up for on a day-to-day basis. I wonder how that's going to transpire if I'm going to think like that, thinking about death on a day-to-day basis. You might have heard people say time and time again, you've experienced the void once. Why are you afraid of it again? So you're saying to me in this case is that we was all once nothing, or something along the lines. It's an extremely insensitive thing to say. After that, death, it is back to the void. Being born, it gave us the ability to form relationships, feelings, love for life, or maybe hatred for it. We might not want to lose those feelings. We don't know where we go when we die. When in the most fearful scenarios, we can't really put on a facade and give a persona in which we want people to believe in which we are truthfully. When in such a fearful scenario, the only thing that we can resort to is being ourselves. Just that, it will happen. I know of someone who keeps trying to delude himself into believing he will never die. Don't do that. You will break yourself. and then the thing that you've been trying to evade will swallow you whole. Death is inevitable. It's painful to hear that people so young are afraid of a problem so long off. Unfortunately for all of us, we all have our own timer. Sometimes that timer is shorter than other timers. It depends on person to person. Down to how we are born, what we are born with. Are we born with any deficiencies, defectives? Anything along those lines medically. For some of us, unfortunately, the full life of going up to like the 80s, the 90s, or even the 100s, sometimes that is immediately slashed based off of something in which you had no choice in. But just know, not now. Not now, not soon. Overthinking about death is going to stress you even further. All of this is stressful. I know your life is very stressful. How do you know that my life is very stressful, dear Suzumi? And I am sorry. Maybe my words mean nothing to you. That is fine. You can't just be told to stop worrying or to stop thinking. You have lots of experiences left. Lots of experiences in which you have yet to make. Lots of friends in which you have yet to meet. Lots of different things around your environment in which you have fully yet truly grasped, no matter how many times you have looked on the front of it, on the back of it, on the sides of it. No matter how many different times you look at something, there is always going to be something new about it. Or if it is completely new, then take in all of the vivid imagination in which you can conjure up from seeing that particular thing. Because the first time is always the most shocking, the most surprising, the most refreshing. Because it is in the unknown in which we can truly conquer our fears, and in the unknown in which we discover our fears in the first place. But perhaps those fears were never truly there until we come across that very something in which I don't know where I was going with that. You have so much experience left. It's not now. Not now, okay? Why is it okay in blood red? Great. I am not the best at advice. Who could say that they are the best at advice? But everyone deserves to at least talk about their issues. Was I anyhow? We will end it off on a high note to say glad to hear. I hope that you can experience better things in life soon. I may not know who you are or anything, but it does not really matter. My name is Sonomi. My name is also Sonomi. Sonomi. Thank you. Goodbye, Sonomi. I just want to end off to see if there's any potential Easter egg when you're the same character name as the one in which we have in front of us. So you could say this might not even be a game in itself, but is more or less some questions set in front of you, and then you have to be able to answer those questions in a way in which you would be able to get an understanding, a better understanding of both yourself and those around you. Not every single question is going to have an answer, and sometimes the answers of that question may lead to even more questions down the road. And then, like the multiplication of bacteria, it will enter into a number which is too unfathomable to control. The deeper the rabbit hole that you go down, the more that you discover, and the more you're going to find out. But you should not be worried about your fears, because the fears are only there if you allow them to be there. There's always going to be something in which you, watching right now, are something that you fear. You fear yourself, possibly. You fear others. You fear your next door neighbor that is cutting away at the tree right now and hoping that that tree does not land on your house. I know that sounds morbid, but this kind of experience is quite important sometimes. You need to just sit down and answer some important questions for both yourself and for those around you. Life is too short to be able to worry over every single little thing. It's always the things that are in front of you and also the things that are in your peripherals in which you should be at least concerned about. Your loved ones, your friends, family, co-workers, all in that particular scenario. Adapt to your environment. You may never know what is around the corner. Sometimes today's friends could be tomorrow's enemies. Today's enemies could be tomorrow's friends. Sounds very illogical, I know. But sometimes that is how life goes along. You know, there are people in relationships who love one another. That start may have been the most crippling start to both of them that it could ever be. Like you accidentally spilled a hot chocolate on their skirt and they got really angry at you and called you clumsy and all that. But you let that slide past you because you know very well that you're both sorry for doing that and for the fact that it was a small thing, despite the fact that for her it was a really expensive skirt. But it's washable at the end of the day. Some things are washable and other things are not so washable. Bridges take a long time to build, but they can take seconds to collapse. Life is very, very complicated, but life can also be very simple as well, depending on your perspective and depending on what you're thinking about at that point in time. Now, I kind of made a game that is like about 1 or 2 minutes at most, like about 20 minutes. And that's because this is the kind of theme that we all know eventually we need to talk about. Not the game in itself, but what the game gives to you as the player. A discussion. And here today, I hope to have given at least one person just a little bit more enlightenment throughout life. Because life may be a roller coaster, but there are moments in that roller coaster in which the roller coaster itself does not go down and tear your face off with all the G-forces that it gives to you. But there's always the slow descent upwards, knowing that it could be a possible excitement, rush, or fear. Perhaps you don't even know that you have a fear of a roller coaster until you go on one. Or perhaps you don't even need to go on one to witness the fear itself crawling into you. Perhaps somebody has told you about their experiences of a roller coaster and they're going to say, do not go on it, only bad things will happen. Maybe not now, maybe not on the ride, but perhaps in the future. A bad omen may encroach towards you because you've ridden on a ride in which your really, really scruffy looking but polite uncle has told you about that particular ride. But things change over time. Rides get safer. Or perhaps not, especially at my height. There's a roller coaster park called Fort Park where I am in the UK, and there is literally a ride in which has a maximum height limit. And I go just above that maximum height limit, which means I cannot go on that ride. But usually when you hear about height limits on a roller coaster, it's always 100% of the time the minimum height limit. What do you need to grow above in order to go on that ride? I don't think there's such a thing called heightist, where you are discriminated by a height when it comes to rides, but I'm sure that there's always been a case somewhere in the world in which somebody has been downgraded psychologically because of their physicality, and that's no good. But Not Now is an experience in itself, one in which takes multiple takes in order to go through the game. But what are you afraid of? Are you confident enough to put down your fears, your two fears, within the comment sections below? I don't say that you have to put them down. Of course, we are all very different. Perhaps not all of us are comfortable talking about what makes us afraid. But hopefully my voice is not one of them. Thank you so much for watching. There is a link down in the description below where you'll be able to download Not Now for yourselves. Thank you so much for watching and take care of yourselves. Remember to like, comment and subscribe for the channel and the video itself. Now, not down the road or later, now. Don't think about doing the not now scenario now. Thank you for watching and take care of yourselves.